So hopefully you're starting to see that, you know, you can really sort of rinse a pot of money and start to acquire assets. Let's see who's been counting. 7 deals there that we've gone through so far. £620,000 worth of property acquired. 86,679 in terms of equity created instantly from those properties. Just over £3,500 monthly cash flow of £42,912 per year. I'm sure most people would take that as probably a salary, and you know, it's obviously, I think the average UK salary is 28 grand, so you know we're punching above that quite easily. 31,497 is what I've got currently, or what I had currently tied up in those 7 deals, from sort of the minute we finished the deal and all the little bits that left getting tied up. You know, it is difficult to refinance all the money out all the time, but as you can see there, we've created, you know, a decent amount of equity from £31,500. We've almost trebled that, and obviously we've created quite a lot of, you know, we've acquired quite a lot of property. And for me, it's the monthly cash flow. That's all I'm bothered about at the minute, is monthly cash flow. The equity on top's great, that is the bonus, but I just want to spin the money as much as I can. To create the cash flow. The more cash flow I can create, the more property I can buy, and the whole thing starts to snowball. And that's how it's happened so far. On average, 9.2 months to get all the money out. Now these figures probably are ahead of kind of probably industry standard, because we do tend to do BRR, then flip them into a super rent strategy. So either a sort of minimal HMO or a serviced accommodation, which generally creates more money. But obviously, investing in Newcastle, there are some good rentals for, you know, we'll have properties with, you know, anywhere from £90 to £120 mortgages that we're maybe getting £450, £500 rent a month for. So, you know, there are good margins in terms of return on your investment monthly up here. Secret number 1. So obviously this is what you are all wanting to hear. You might still be thinking, I don't understand how this works for me. If you don't have a deposit to get started. But this is where we kind of get creative. Some of you will understand these strategies, some of you won't. Some might be the first time some of you heard them, but you can get started in this game with minimal funds. If I'd known this a lot sooner, then again, I would have done it a lot sooner, and the portfolio would have been even bigger. So if you remember deal number 4, I paid £3,000 for this to a sourcer. You know, so someone else sourced this deal for me. They did all the hard work. They viewed it, they found it. You know, they cost it up and they sold it to me on a plate. You know, this is where I started, but I've never sold a deal. So I come back to that sales conference that I was at. Someone started talking about deal sourcing as a way to get into property, and it started to like open my eyes of, right, well, that means I can do viewings, I can start putting deals together, I can analyze them, and I don't need these deposits, and then I'll sell them. I just needed that mindset shift and perceived exit strategy. I've never sold a deal in my life. I don't intend to sell any deals. I like to keep them because I can see the full potential of them long term. But it was just that shift that I needed to make me think I can do this without needing a deposit. And you know, because the idea of putting 20, 30 grand into a house, getting £200 a month and waiting however long for that to come back out, decades, that just wasn't appealing to me. But at the time, I didn't know any other way to do it. I couldn't think of any other way to do it. So I just needed that mindset shift, and the deal sourcing was the exit strategy for me. I was thinking, right, well, I can do that easily, and then I can go and sell these deals on. You know, that's how I set off. So it can be your strategy. Every single one of those deals I've just presented there, all 7 of them, you could have sold for £3,000. No bother at all. 21 grand, you could have just sold those deals for 21 grand. Every single one of them would have stacked up for an investor. You know, or you would have found an investor to go in with those deals on with you. You know, because you'll start to see later on, like, money is readily available. If you go looking for money and you've got the right deals, money's readily available. So, you know, good deals attract money. And if you start believing it, the money will start finding your deals. So we've got to get out of this mindset of thinking you need money to get into property. Now at this stage, don't worry if you still don't fully understand how you're going to get started with your property portfolio, how you'll make a cash flow once you acquire the property, or how you'll find your deals. You know, we're going to come on to all this. I had to view over 400 properties to start figuring all this out. You know, most of the viewings are a waste of time. I mean, I say that loosely because I always think something's always teaching you something, so nothing's always a waste of time. But looking back, you know, probably 200 or 250 of those viewings were never going to turn into deals. They were never going to be, you know, anything that I could do anything with. You know, I know that now, and I know, you know, when I, you know, search properties now, I can pick a handful, and I know I'm quite confident that we can get those on, and because we're just refined everything. The experience it's taught you is just to, you know, really hone your skills in and focus your areas, which, you know, reduces the time. I mean, I was looking in the wrong areas for starters, and I was driving around wasting my time. There was quite a few times I drove up to houses and just drove off because the area was terrible. You know, but I just didn't know. I didn't know at the time. So, you know, what do you do? You kind of figure out by learning by your mistakes. You know, I wasn't even sure how to start analysing deals at first. I just started viewing properties. You know, I didn't really know what I was doing. But I just got out there, and that's kind of, I guess, my personality and my nature. But, you know, there are easier ways to do it than doing it.